started it in 1789. 1789 is the beginning of the French Revolution in France. So in France there are all these ideas, these universal ideas of freedom and liberation and equality and brotherhood, etc., etc. So the first question is, can we keep slaves in our colonies then? If we say that every person is equal and was born free, can we have slaves? For now, yes. But all these ideas of enlightenment, of freedom, will travel faster and faster than before. And they will arrive in the colonies. And there are black people who want this concept of freedom for themselves. So that leads us to 1791 and the first uprisings in Haiti, in Saint-Domingue, because it's not named Haiti yet. 1794, there's the first abolition of slavery. This is something that is a little bit not secret, but people don't want to talk about it so much because it's quite awkward, and France, doesn't have the good part. So 1794, there's the first emancipation because basically, because of the revolution, France is at war with the rest of Europe. The rest of Europe is really concerned about this crazy revolution that is getting out of control, that is killing king and queen. So they don't like it. So France is fighting with them in Europe, but as well in the Caribbean. And the Spanish and the British want to invade Saint-Domingue, seize Saint-Domingue, because it is the richest French colony, so it was a way to make France weaker. So the French could not keep fighting their own slaves, the English and the Spanish. So after a negotiation, there was a sort of truce, and they told their slaves, you're not slaves anymore, you are citizens, here are some weapons, fight for France, fight for the revolution. And for 8 years, there was an emancipation. Until 1802, le consulat rétablit l'esclavage. The consulate put slavery back on. They choose to use the word le consulate, which is the name of the political regime dominated by Napoleon. So we're not to say his name. So 1802, slavery goes back on. It will be a tragedy. But in Haiti, in Saint-Domingue, there will be a new revolution and the French army is defeated. And on January the 1st, 1804, Saint-Domingue became Haiti, the first black republic. A couple of interesting facts that are not in there, like if it doesn't matter, Haiti will have to pay reparations to France. It will take 20 years for the French government to acknowledge the independence of the Haitian Republic, and they will do so in the 1820s with a peace treaty, not even a peace treaty, a treaty of friendship signed between Haiti and France, and Haiti will pay reparations to France for the loss of Saint-Domingue, of a really profitable colony. 2 years ago, this story came back in the news, and I've read an article by a French mainstream media, not activist, black, radical, or anything, no, just like they said the equivalent of what Haiti paid to France would be around $20 billion. And it took them over 100 years to pay France back. So that's just a little detail. But let's go back to France for a second, because 1848, there is a new revolution in France. And there's going to be a new republic in France. And a lot of people here say it's the right time to abolish slavery. So there was the guy I was telling you about before, Shelcher, who was buried the same day as Ibwe. Shelcher was basically the politician who was in charge of creating the law, writing the law, and the application of the emancipation of slavery in the French Caribbean. There is something that is not told. The first thing, it's about reparations, because there are black activists who are, we need reparations. There was reparations. There was reparations given to people who used to own slaves.
What?
So white people get paid by the French government, because basically what the government said is, we are buying all the slaves and then we are setting them free and we're abolishing slavery. So whenever there's a debate about reparations, and the government and white politicians, no, we cannot talk about reparation cannot happen, reparation cannot exist. Like, yes, there is reparation for white people who lost their slaves. So that's
because the slaves were sort of like property.
Yeah.
And so to give up my property, I need, something for that.
This is quite unique. Unique. Another thing about that, it's about the date we celebrate. So the law was written in France on April the 27th, but every territory celebrates a different date. In Martinique, we don't want to hear anything else than May the 22nd. May the 22nd, because slaves of Martinique, for different reasons, were considered as the weakest and the most docile slaves for quite a long time. And on May the 22nd, there were rumors of an emancipation of the slaves. Rumors for weeks and months, and people lost their patience. So slaves of Martinique burnt plantations and killed white people.
Yep.
So the governor of the island called the most important white families and told them, guys, it's a matter of days, let them go. So people of Martinique don't want to hear anything but May the 22nd.
Yeah.
And actually, when the guy representing the French Republic came with a paper saying slavery is over, people of Martinique were like, oh, thank you very much. We did it ourselves. So that's a list of something. In Guadeloupe, they only want to hear about May the 27th. In French Guiana, they only want to hear about June 10th. So you have different examples like that. In France, we celebrate May the 10th. May the 10th because in 2001, the Senate, that is right there, voted a law acknowledging slavery as a crime against humanity after all the protests and the march of 1998. But in Martinique, on May the 10th, we don't care. We're like, oh, maybe French people realized slavery was wrong on May the 10th, 2001.
Right.
But we'll keep celebrating May the 22nd. That's the only bank holiday, the only different bank holiday that we have than the French Republic. It's like, no, don't ask us to work on May the 22nd. It's not happening. So there's something interesting about that. And then in 2006, May the 10th became the national day for the memory of transatlantic slave trade and slavery. So every year the President of France comes here, right behind, right there, and gives a speech about slavery and freedom and emancipation. I was invited 2 years ago, and there was Jesse Jackson from the US who gave a speech about freedom and emancipation and so on and so forth. So that's the debate about that in the French context. Do you find some similarities with what is going back home for you in the US, or how do you feel about that? Yes?
Crimes against humanity.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, we should have a law against slavery in that way, but I don't really do. I just want to mention to the students, remember Glisson and
Césaire.
Are both a part of your concept sheets.
Oh, they?
Yeah.
Okay.
So they're on. Yeah, I'm just reminding you, so this could tie this in what he was talking about. Because I introduced a lot of concepts and people to them that they had probably not heard of before. So now they can synthesize.